Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in their mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road in Chesapeake for lunch or dinner, and like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is Spaghetti Eddie's. From Chesapeake, Virginia, WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
Sports Scene for the week of January 22nd, midweek online, Saturday on the radio from 1 to 2 p.m. Sports Scene is an interview show. Also watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Tell your friends about gjbtv.com and click the YouTube link on the homepage for archived audio and video. Twitter at Greg Bick. And you can see the rest of my Twitter handles on gjbtv.com in the contact section. Thank you to our military. Guest lineup presented by Meat Casita with 2 locations in Virginia Beach. Sponsors on gjbtv.com, marketplace sponsors, and HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Phone line presented by Spaghetti Eddie's. Show presented by HRSMHOF.com with their big ceremony May the 12th. Super Bowl is all set between New England and Philadelphia. UVA is still winning big basketball games. They got a big one this Saturday at 2 o'clock on CBS versus Duke. Michigan State at Maryland Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene Weekly, and we love our regulars and newcomers and tourists. Stay tuned.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in their mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road in Chesapeake for lunch or dinner, and like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is Spaghetti Eddie's. Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene right here on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer, on Twitter, on Facebook as well, all over the place. Scott Jackson went to Old Dominion, been working for Red Zebra for several years, worked in North Carolina, has also done national radio shows, been on Sports Scene several times. How are you, my friend?
Good. How you doing, Greg?
Very good. Let's get right to it. The Wizards right now. You look at last year, a playoff team. They peaked toward the end of the season, had a lot of momentum. What is going on right now? Losing recently to Dallas, and they seem to play well one game, lose the next game. We're on the road. It's very difficult to win any games.
Yeah, I mean they're not a good team right now. I mean you see Cleveland having problems themselves. The Wizards have been this inconsistent team all year, especially against bad teams. They've had some of the worst losses in the league against some of the worst teams in the league. They've lost to Dallas twice. They got swept by the Mavericks, so I think at 14 or 15 wins. They lost to the Lakers, lost to the Brooklyn Nets twice, Sixers. I mean, just go on and on. They're terrible against those teams. They lack focus. Even though they've had a better bench this year in terms of production, the starting five has really slipped after being one of the better in the league last year, and certainly some of that was, Markieff Morris didn't start the season, and clearly doesn't seem like he's the same player. Going off Sports hernia surgery. Marcin Gortat, it's really not very consistent, and John Wall and Bradley Beal, they just they don't seem like they're really going out of their way to make Gortat a better player either, or get him his opportunities. And it's a team that's really fractured right now. I think it's pretty obvious. They, for some reason, feel like they need to tell you everything that's going on with the team too, about this failed team meeting that they had a few weeks ago. And it's just a bad look. I mean, they really, they're in a weird spot because you can't really do a whole lot with the 4 huge salaries they have. Most of them are unmovable at this point, and I think they're kind of stuck with this group, and it'll be interesting to see if they try to shake it up at all before the deadline. But I don't expect anything major unless they're willing to give up a Kelly Oubre or a first-round pick, which I think would be a huge mistake.
You can see Scott Jackson a lot on the post-game shows of NBC Sports Washington. Talk about that post-game show before we talk more about the Wizards and the Super Bowl coming up and the Redskins and so forth. Talk about how often are you on that show?
Usually like once a week. Sometimes it's like a couple times in 1 week and then off for a week and then back on. But yeah, it's like on average probably about 5 times a month. But they rotate a lot of people in. We had a lot of fun, even though the team isn't very good this year. It's been, it's still a lot of fun to work with a different casting crew every night.
One person who people are familiar with down here is Tony Massenberg, because he's from this area somewhat. Of course, he went to Maryland, played for 3 different coaches at Maryland, played a long time in the NBA. He seems to be really critical of the Wizards not buying anything they're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, we all are. I mean, they're kind of a joke, and I'm kind of tiring of this push to get guys in all-star games. And quite frankly, I mean, I would be embarrassed to go to an all-star game with the way they've been playing right now. I mean, I get it, Bradley Beal's never been there, but John Wall, I mean, his numbers are very deceiving. He's not having a good year. He's I think as big a problem as anybody. I heard J.J. Barea make a comment last night that maybe he's not well liked on this team, and I can't. It doesn't look like a group that likes each other. I'll tell you that much. Right now, and I don't know what you do. I mean, they signed Wall to a supermax this offseason. They overextended with Otto Porter, which everybody knew was going to be the case. I mean, Otto hasn't changed, but his price has, and that makes that kind of locks them into the team they are right now, which is not a very good team.
Right. You guys have talked a lot about Keith, and you talked about Porter as injuries. Gortat tried to dunk in recently. Couldn't even get it over anybody. Just looks tired. Almost looks like Nene did a few years ago. Wall and Beal are okay. But here's what's the dead weight that really surprises me. Mahinmi, Frazier, Meeks, Smith. What is Smith doing? He looked like he was yawning on the bench recently against Dallas.
Well, yeah, I mean, he doesn't play, so why would you be ready to play? I mean, they never play him. So, I mean, he had to play last night because of the Mahinmi bleeding out of the head. But, yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd be yawning too. And, there was a stretch where Scott Brooks would go through this thing, well, we got to find a way to get Jason Smith in the game. And, like, just stop talking about it because you're not going to get him in the game, so stop pretending you're going to play him. Yeah, I mean, look, they would like to move one of those 2 bigs, I'm sure, Mahinmi or Gortat. Mahinmi would free up a lot more money, but nobody's taking that contract. Gortat's got this year and next year left on his deal, and you're right, it looks like he's aging in front of our eyes. I also think a change of scenery would be good for March. I just think him and John have kind of had this ongoing thing for a while. I think it's been pretty obvious if you watch them communicate during games, and it just hasn't gotten any better. So it'd be great if they could, but, hey, everybody in the NBA sees the exact same things we're seeing, and they get paid to evaluate this stuff. How are you going to sell your owner on picking up one of these underachievers? I don't know how. I mean, that's why it's a little scary because they would probably have to sweeten the pot by throwing in a first. And we know the pattern of that, where that's gotten the Wizards, gotten them to the point where they really don't have any young up-and-coming talent outside of Oubre.
Look at Milwaukee. I saw the game in person last week against the Wizards, and the Greek Freak and company and so many great players in their team just totally annihilated the Wizards in the second half, and now Kidd's gone. The Milwaukee's right there in that 7-8 mark, and the Wizards have to watch out because right now Indiana, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and even Detroit are right on their heels. There's no guarantee the Wizards are even going to get that number 8 spot.
Yeah, I think they'll be in. They'll
Sure.
do enough to stay in. But, yeah, I mean, you're looking at a one-and-done situation if you're a 5 or below. And, yeah, I mean, even if it's the 4 seed, I mean, if you got to play Milwaukee in round 1, I think they match up well against Detroit. They've beat Detroit pretty good 3 times this year. I don't see that as being an issue. But, this is a team that talked a lot about, 50 wins, being a top 2 seed, being home court, getting home court advantage perhaps, maybe in the 1. They're not going to get that. Cleveland's obviously very vulnerable right now, but the Wizards can't take advantage of it because they got their own issues.
Yeah, I think when Cleveland gets to the postseason, they're going to be fine. My problem is Isaiah Thomas. I saw him when he played for Sacramento. Of course, he played for the Celtics. He had family issues as well. We all know that. But he's a ball hog. I'm sorry. He plays no defense. He wants the ball. He's always looking to shoot. And LeBron is already pissed off about everything else. That's the last thing he wants to do is worry about some small guy like him trying to take the ball away from him as well. It just seems too many distractions on Cleveland. I'll think they'll still be there at the end. But you got to wonder if that team will probably be totally changed by next season as well.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, because the big thing is obviously LeBron, whether he's even still there or if he's in another city, or he's in LA or wherever everybody thinks he's going to go. So yeah, I mean that's the huge thing there. But yeah, I mean Isaiah Thomas is really just a smaller version of what they have with Kyrie Irving, a guy who wants to shoot a lot and isn't really a playmaker necessarily. Isaiah had better assist numbers, I think, than Kyrie did, and obviously not a very good defender. So it's I think they'll figure it out. I mean, they usually do. They get this drama every year with Cleveland, and ESPN does a good job at playing it up with their Cavs reporter Brian Windhorst, and they make a lot of money off that stuff. So get a lot of clicks, just like these Wojnarowski now, with all the Milwaukee stuff that's out there. It's almost teams fire coaches all the time. It's not that big of a deal. They've obviously felt like they plateaued and they need a new voice in there. And I don't know if it's worth Cleveland firing Ty Lue because again, if LeBron's gone next year, then I don't know how attractive a job that is for anybody.
Talking to Scott Jackson from ESPN 980, Greg Bicouvaris at Greg Bick on Twitter. Scott, give us your Twitter handle.
At Jackson Sports.
Very good, very good. Went to Old Dominion, of course, and worked down here for several years. Talking to Scott, when you talk about the Wizards and the rest of the NBA, what else do you see? The East has definitely improved. The Knicks are relevant again. Of course, you look at Philadelphia, they got some really good young talent too. The West is still dominated by Golden State and Houston for the most part, but the West is just so strong compared to the East.
Although I think the bottom of the West is pretty crappy, to be honest with you. I mean, the fact that the Clippers are in the playoff picture tells you it's not very good this year. And, in New Orleans is not a great team. I mean, they have some great fantasy numbers from guys, but they're not a great team by any means. I actually think the East on the bottom part for a while there was looking better, but now the Milwaukee's struggling, and obviously Detroit without Reggie Jackson's not as good. But, listen, it's great. Look, the league's doing great, but let's be honest. We're all watching to see, who gets to go lose to Golden State. I mean, that's it. I mean, Houston's not doing anything. I mean, you can't convince me Mike D'Antoni's style is going to work in the playoffs because it never has. And they're not beating the Warriors. I mean, bottom line. So it's just everybody's playing for second. It's just a matter of does Boston get to go lose to them, or can LeBron keep the streak alive as finals and go lose to them again?
Absolutely. Talk to Scott Jackson. Let's switch gears a little bit to another tenant inside the Capital One Arena is Georgetown. A lot of splash with Patrick Ewing, but it has not turned out that great. They've beaten a lot of cupcakes, just like it was when he was playing for Georgetown. They stacked up on a lot of cupcakes. They're still young. It's still a transition, of course. But they're not getting the big national showcase games on TV like they have been, and their attendance isn't that great either. What's up with Georgetown, and not to mention what's going on with Maryland, because they seem like they're borderline irrelevant right now.
Well, nothing's going on with either one of them. I mean, neither one of them's a tournament team. I mean, Georgetown, I'm not surprised they're terrible. I mean, I didn't expect anything from Georgetown this year. I mean, Patrick Ewing's never coached as a head coach, and I don't know what kind of coach he's going to be. He's got to recruit. He's got to get his own people in there. He's got to develop a style, whatever that's going to be. They've loaded up on cupcakes, which is probably stupid. But, I mean, I didn't expect anything from Georgetown. I was surprised, to be honest with you, they fired JT3. I didn't think they would do that. It's kind of strange. You go from JT3 to a former player, but maybe that was the only way they could go. Maybe nobody wanted that job because it sure didn't seem like, in the end, it was, they didn't really get anywhere. Shaka Smart and some of these other names that you heard out there. So, I didn't really expect anything from them this year. They've never had good attendance. And I don't know, over a decade or so. I mean, really, to be honest with you, they should have stopped playing at, Verizon Center/Capital One Arena a long time ago, except for like a few games. I never understood why they don't have their own on-campus arena. They finally got a practice facility a few years ago. They've always been lagging in facilities for a school that brings in so much money. Kind of astonishing. In Maryland, they've got, obviously the loss of Jackson killed them. Not that they were expected to win the Big Ten by any means, but I think that hurt them. Their best case scenario, an NIT team, I guess. Worst
right.
case, they're in the CBI or one of those tournaments. But, Georgetown, they're not going anywhere. They're they're like, kind of like we're saying, at least they're beating St. John's. I guess that's the one positive.
Yeah, we're talking to Scott Jackson from ESPN 980. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us on Sports Scene. And it's true because look at what you guys talk about on ESPN 980. I mean, I know Kevin loves Maryland in the morning, talks about him once in a while, but not that often. Still predominantly, even the offseason, Redskins, Wizards through the playoffs, of course, March Madness as well. Then, of course, Nats a little bit as long as they're winning, and, of course, some Orioles. But it seems like Georgetown, Maryland, and a lot of this stuff, even the Caps, as good as they've been over the years, they don't get a whole lot of play on your station unless it's relevant. It still seems like, to me, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, Redskins number 1, Redskins number 2, Wizards right up there, and pretty much everything else falls beneath that.
I think the Nats are a little higher than you think. But, yeah, I mean, look, here's the problem for the Nats and the Caps. Everybody knows they're going to be good in the regular season. It's just a matter of can they do something in the postseason. So I think there's kind of a exhaustion effort there, and really it's more like Kirk Cousins and the Redskins, and they're in like separate topics. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
And the NFL are the big things, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the Capitals. When it gets around playoff time, they get a little bit more love. But we definitely still hit the Capitals as much as we can. But the NHL regular season is so long and just quite frankly meaningless in a lot of ways. The Caps' whole thing is, can they avoid Pittsburgh? Hopefully Pittsburgh doesn't make the playoffs. Maybe then they'd have a fighting chance to actually do something this year and get past the second round. And the Nationals, this is a huge year for them because of Harper's free agency, and whether or not they can keep him, whether he wants to even be here, who knows? He's what he's looking to do after the season. So I actually think the Nats are very interested. I can't wait for them to start spring training because the Wizards are pretty much irrelevant. They're going to be pretty irrelevant here pretty soon if they don't get their act together.
Yeah, I mean, back to the Wizards, their energy level just doesn't seem like it's there. They seem almost disinterested. And I know it's tough, and this is a big thing that not a whole lot of people talk about. You have, because you were part of the Wizards broadcast for so many years, is that 82-game grind. A lot of these kids that go one and done were playing 20 to 25 games in high school, 35 to 40 in college, and all of a sudden you're playing against grown men, seasoned, grizzled veterans, 82 games, preseason, postseason, and their bodies start running out of gas early, and sometimes they can't make up for it.
Well, I mean, in the Wizards' case, they only have really one guy who's in that boat, and that's Kelly Oubre. I think of his senior in college this year. Everybody else has been in the pros long enough. I mean, John Wall's in year 8. I mean, grow up, man.
Yeah.
Get in shape. I mean, and by the way, the schedule's never been easier in the NBA with all the stretched out. They took away most of the back-to-backs and the travel. I mean, the Wizards were off for 3 days before last night's game. And it looked like they enjoyed their time in Dallas in those off days, too. I mean, the way they came out and played. But, that's the other problem with the team. And the lack of professionalism is clear. You talk about the road record. I mean, that's what that shows me. That's just a team that doesn't focus. They go on the road. They think they're on a vacation and not on a business trip. I mean, real teams go on the road, they kick ass, and they get out of town. But this team doesn't do that. So outside of, the Boston game on Christmas Day, it was the only game they clearly cared about this year. They put a lot into. But, yeah, I mean, you can't even use the scheduling excuse anymore. I get so annoyed with all this minutes restriction crap that people talk about. I mean, can you imagine that? Michael Jordan and those guys played a much more physical game. Nobody's talking about minutes restrictions. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They're trying to take breaks and so forth, but it's just like the strong survive. They keep adding more volume. Like you mentioned, yep. Golden State. Golden State doesn't rest on their laurels. I mean, I remember Kerr just a few years ago. He was an analyst for CBS doing the Maryland game a few years ago, and he's not missed a beat. He's had his health injuries and, so forth. Yep. I guess the only other drama has been, the Lakers and, the whole ball situation. It seems like it's finally calmed down because he's got family members in Lithuania, but it's about scratching and surviving, reloading. It's such a mental grind for 82 games, and really just this strong survive. And the Wizards right now are weak-minded.
Yeah, they're weak. There's no question. They lack huge leadership, and Scott Brooks got to own some of this. I think he's done kind of a bad job this year with setting a standard and holding them to that. He threatened to make changes and he didn't after that game the other night, and who knows how much of that was organizational interference from others that want to move some of these guys and say, hey, you can't bench people, go and trade them. I don't know what it is, but again, they're gonna have to sweeten the pot to get rid of these guys. I don't think anybody's going to be interested in taking a broken down Markieff Morris and a disinterested Marcin Gortat, unless they throw in a number 1 or put a Kelly Oubre or somebody like that, and then I don't think they want to do it. Now maybe you could find somebody that one Otto Porter. I don't know, but that's you got to get a young three back in the mix because they're really thin at that position. When Otto's hurt, as he is, appears to be now with that hip, he's got no value too. Besides him and Oubre, they really don't have anybody else who can play that position.
All right, talking to Scott Jackson, final few moments, and always enjoy listening to Scott during the post-game show, of course, with Clinton Portis on ESPN 980. Of course, they added WMAL to the lineup and several radio stations as well. On my way home, working a lot of the Fox games, always a very exciting listen to as well. But all right, let's talk about it. Cousins, and it's been kind of quiet lately. Here we are coming up on 2018 again. The spring is right around the corner. What do you think is his status? And I want to get your prediction on the Super Bowl. I heard Riggins recently talked to Kevin saying he didn't think that, the Patriots and Brady were that big of a deal. I don't know what, I totally respect John. He played for the Jets. He played for the Redskins. Great player, but Brady's the best quarterback of all time. I don't care what kind of football he's playing with.
Well, yeah, look, they don't kill anybody, so I guess there's that
Sure.
that idea, that, hey, they're not dominating people, so they're not as scary. I mean, look, every Super Bowl they played in has been a one-score game. So, I think I give the Eagles a puncher's chance here. I think they get a really good all-around team. But Foles is going to have to, play similar to what he played, close to similar to what he played with in the championship game. I don't know if that's realistic or possible. New England, they're used to being the front runners. It's not like, because Philly's been great as this underdog. I mean, that doesn't deter New England. They've been great as a front runner forever. I mean, and I'm talking, over a decade now. So that's not a big deal for them. So I would say Patriots in a closer game than people would probably expect. As far as that goes, as far as Kirk Cousins goes, I just feel like the way the Redskins have been talking about it, and Jay Gruden in particular, I think they're ready for a resolution. If Kirk Cousins and his agent don't want to negotiate, beyond, if they want $30 million a year, I think it's over. I mean, it's not happening here. It's just a matter of how do you end it? You tag him still and work out a trade, you transition him and let the market set itself and play that game and, call his bluff and say, hey, go sign one with Cleveland, see if you really want to be in Cleveland. Or do they have a good enough relationship, which I'm not sure they do. It doesn't seem like it. Or they could get something done before those tag dates, and, here's the long-term deal, here's what we're going to do, and have a plan that way. I just don't have a great feeling about it. And, I kind of understand. I wouldn't pay him over. I got a hard time swallowing $27 million cap hit for a quarterback that, is good, but he's not great. He's a good quarterback. He's good in that system, but he's not. I don't think he's a standalone difference maker at the position. Not to say that a lot of people are, but I just don't see him as that guy.
And a lot of people criticize former Panthers and Ravens receiver Steve Smith as well for talking about, is he worth the money or not worth the money? I'm starting to agree now with Steve Smith, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, but I think Steve didn't know what the hell he was talking about
at the time.
Things that he did on the Thanksgiving day after Thanksgiving, or the Thursday after Thanksgiving
Sure.
in Dallas. He was talking about how they didn't communicate. He had no idea what he was talking about. I mean, he was just then said it was costing him money. No, it's not. I mean, look, somebody's going to overpay for him, and if you're the Browns, I don't really know why you would. You could pick a quarterback at number 1 overall or at 4. It doesn't make any sense, and that's what the interesting thing is. I think the market has changed some, and I just don't know if he really has thought it out long enough and hard enough about, the grass. The money may be greener on the other side, but will it be a good fit for him? And remember this, you go somewhere else, and we've seen this with the Redskins. I mean, free agency is a crapshoot, man. It's not a given, Very rarely do guys fit in like Drew Brees did in New Orleans, especially that position. And, he's not going to get nobody's going to give him any time wherever he goes because he's going to be guy's going to get overpaid, and they're going to expect dividends right away. There's no equity in the bank like there is here with him as a 4th-round kind of underdog pick, guy who was, shunned by the organization and all that stuff. He's not going to get that treatment, whether it's New York or Denver or wherever it may end up being.
Right. All right, Scott, thanks so much. Of course, now we have 2 Grudens in the NFL, one back in Oakland, one, of course, with the Redskins, 2 brothers as well, just like there were 2 Harbaughs a few years ago. Always intriguing. Catch Scott Jackson weekdays 1 to 4, correct, Scott?
Yep, 1 to 4.
On ESPN 980. All the best, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, great, thanks.
Thank you. Scott Jackson right there from ESPN 980. Went to Old Dominion. Excellent guest right here on Sports Scene. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Scott Jackson, of course, very involved with the Wizards postgame on NBC Sports Washington as well. Sports Scene will continue after the news and a lot more after these messages right here on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM. Don't forget tunein.com by typing in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. And, of course, a week from Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. on The Lighthouse, 1010 a.m. and 100.1. Stay tuned.
Coming down to the light of day, we got many moons that are deep in place, so I keep it.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com.
All right, highlights as well. Greg Bicouvaris along with Joe Daniel, producer extraordinaire, GJBTV.com. Click the YouTube link for archived shows. Sports Scene Online on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Saturday from 1 to 2. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, visit, bookmark it. 3 websites, GJBTV.com, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, HRSMHOF.com. NBA and college basketball are heating up. Spring training coming up soon in baseball, and the NBA All-Star Game as well. Busy February, busy time of the year. At Greg Bick on Twitter. That's GREGBIC. Question today, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News to Joe Daniel. When it comes to spending money in general, outside of normal bills and groceries, are you a big spender or are you frugal?
I'd hardly classify myself as frugal, but I'm not a big spender. I do enjoy spending money. I do like seeing something and having the money there and purchasing it. I wouldn't call myself a shopaholic or anything like that, but I do need to spend. It's a reteaching that I'm going through, is to be more frugal, not just like not spend, but actually intentionally try to save your money for a big purchase later on to build toward that and then have that big release, if you will, at the end.
Very good. Sports Scene in Sakura Japanese restaurant. Go by and see Jasmine at the sushi bar. Take out and dine in. They deliver through orderup.com at the Walmart Way Crossing, 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake. Give her a call at 410-4577 for great lunch and dinner today. Stay tuned.
Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in their mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road in Chesapeake for lunch or dinner, and like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is Spaghetti Eddie's. You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. And the Norfolk Tides announced that they will take on the Baltimore Orioles in an exhibition game at Harbor Park on Monday, March 26th. The game will feature the Orioles taking on the Tides, with the first pitch scheduled for 3:05 on Monday, March 26th. Congratulations, Orioles and the Tides, in an exhibition at Harbor Park in Norfolk, Virginia. Harbor Park, a great showcase as well. I want to thank our good friends at Charcoal Chicken. Jamie and the staff open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch and dinner. Pollo a la brasa, charcoal, rotisserie, cooked Peruvian-style chicken, as well as sides, kids menu, dessert, and drinks. Excellent location at the Lomans Plaza, brand new, 4000 Virginia Beach Boulevard. Like them on Facebook. Give them a call at 486-5000. No antibiotics, no added hormones, no preservatives ever. Excellent chicken, excellent sides at Charcoal Chicken. Let's welcome now Alan Elledge, head baseball coach at Stratford University. How are you, Alan?
Greg, how are you today?
Very good, very good. Tell us about your baseball background. You've been on both sides of the water. Now you're at Stratford.
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm a product of Hampton. I went to Bethel High School, finished out of Bethel, went to Ferrum, and transferred to Madison. I actually been involved in baseball in this area well over 20-some years. I started Thomas Nelson Community College, which they're up and continuing to run, and had the opportunity to start a second program in the state of Virginia, here in Stratford, Virginia, with our previous athletic director. Asked me to come and get involved and start baseball here in Newport News, and we're excited. I got a great staff and great athletes, and looking forward to our season this year, our inaugural season.
Alan Elledge is our guest. He's with Stratford University. I guess I got to ask you, with all your business side ventures, busy like I am, how do you have time to do this full time with the travel as well?
It's amazing, Greg. I mean, it's well, you find something in a passion you love to do, and it doesn't feel like work. It's just sometimes it doesn't feel like there's enough time in a day or enough weeks to go. So we just figure a way to do it. We start early and work late, and make sure we get it done, and make sure we take care of everything we need to do. We cross our T's and dot our I's and continue moving on.
Does it still come down to the fundamentals of baseball, pitching and hitting and fielding?
You know, it's funny. I mean, the student athletes have changed over the years. Used to be a lot of kids were participating in school and they were playing in 3 sports. Now they kind of narrowed it down to 2, and in some cases, some of them specialize in 1, and they're getting tremendous amount of training. There's a lot of great guys out here to understand the game, and some of these kids are coming in a little bit more polished than they have been in years. But again, there's always that special talent out here. But again, it all breaks down to understanding the game, having the understanding of how to play the game, and understanding what to do when you're playing the game. So that's still a big part of it. But all in all, kids are the kids, and they'll stay the same. And the kids that work hard, usually the ones that will come up and shine. And kids that really work hard during the off season, you can really tell.
How about the Hitters Academy? How's that going? And do you see a lot of the same issues of the Hitters Academy as you are with kids as far as the traditional baseball is concerned?
Yeah. Again, we're getting kids that are coming in there. Well, the good thing about hitters in that aspect is if we're able to get kids at a younger age, we're able to bring in and develop, and at least give them a head start in their development side of it. But again, it's the same traditional kids. Kids coming in, everybody has the aspiration to go on to the next level. And as we teach in our academy side, it's basically you want to be an impact player for your high school and have the opportunity to play college baseball. And that could be any level. Not everyone's going to go Division I, but there's still an opportunity for some of these kids to be able to continue on after high school to play college sports.
Back in the day, so many great players came from this area: Burcham, Donnie Collins, Frankie Driver, so many Tab Paps, and of course, not to mention the Upton brothers and Wayne Gomes, and of course, David Wright and Kadire. How does that era compare to the era we're in now?
I've had conversations with many people about this, and I guess we're so spread out now, and not only spread out, but also the communication side of it has gotten a lot better. But in any era you come from, you always think that era is the best. But if you look back through it, there are some great players in every era, always in this Tidewater area. There seems to be always that great player. Look at the Pender and the Crockett's out of Pocosin. It's continues to evolve. Every year you're going to have that 1 or 2 guys that really stand out. And I don't care if they're from the Hickory side or from Pocosin or Gloucester. You're still going to have those guys are still going to step up.
Alan Elledge, where do you guys practice? Where do you play? And talk about your schedule.
Well, our indoor facility, we utilize Hitter's Warehouse on Vista for our indoor, but we've actually worked with the city of Hampton. They've been gracious enough to allow us to play at Davis Middle School, which we've put a lot of sweat and effort and energy in the last 2 or 3 months to get that field operational. Matter of fact, this particular weekend, and we redid the scoreboard, put in bullpens, redoing the dugouts, and put a lot of sweat equity in it so far. So hopefully February 2nd, when we kick off, that we'll have it right. We have one more weekend to get this thing prepared. The snow's kind of put us back about 20 days, but I think we'll be there playing Florida National. They're coming in on Friday and Saturday. 2 doubleheaders. We have a twilight doubleheader on the 2nd and a doubleheader on that Saturday. Hopefully the field will be ready to go. This weather's not helping much, but we'll continue to battle that also.
Yeah, winter's always an issue, but with your Hitters Academy, you've always had the advantage over everybody else because rain or shine, you're still active, and that kind of helps your college kids too.
Yeah, our softball program, along with our baseball program, utilize that space. At Stratford, we have somewhat of an advantage. Our student athletes are on a quarter system, so they go to school twice a week, either it be a Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday. And that allows us to get in there early at 1, 2 o'clock after study hall to be able to come in and utilize the facility early, then get back and continue on their studies. So, yeah, having that indoor facility to be able to do ground balls and hitting and bullpens and arm care development and catching, it really makes a difference in getting our guys prepared.
Talking about baseball to Alan Elledge, time, talent, treasure, and really the exceptional players, whether it's the pitchers or the hitters, that work out on their own, that don't need a whole lot of guidance. They're the ones that really are a level above the greenest baseball player in the spring.
Well,
self-motivation.
Again, you can tell the guys that come in and put the extra work. I mean, it's always mandatory. You have to go to practice, but it's those guys that come in late at night to put in and get in the extra swings. Those guys coming in and doing arm care development side. Those guys get into that extra lift. You can tell the guys that really want to go to that next level beyond college, and they're putting in the time. Not saying they'll get there, but they're actually putting in the work to get to that next level. And I think we've got a couple kids on our team right now. We're fortunate enough. We have 25 great student athletes from all over. We actually have kids from Miami. We've got kids from South Carolina, Tennessee, Northern Virginia. We've got kids. We've got a diverse group of student athletes that come together, and I've never seen anything like it. I don't think any of these guys do not get along. They all seem to have a great time at practice, on and off the field, and it's pretty unbelievable to see all these kids get together.
Alan, all the best, my friend. And like you said, chemistry on and off the field. And I guess one thing with the bad weather we've had is the chemistry you develop with some of your players and giving you more time with the coaches and the staff as well.
Absolutely. Well, it's been really been go over things that usually when you miss time that you practice, you get days and days behind. And as any coach, you're always concerned about not being prepared. But having the indoor facility allows us to make sure we cross and cover everything on bunt coverages, even if it's just a walkthrough of understanding bunt coverages, first and third, big plays, certain things that we can do inside that, if we didn't have that indoor facility, it would put us at a disadvantage not being able to practice that. So that allows us to get in that time, even if it's just a walkthrough, understanding that part of it. So, yeah, we definitely have advantage of that.
Alan, all the best. Thanks for being on Sports Highlights and Sports Scene, and we will talk to you soon, my friend. All the best.
Greg, have a great day, and thanks for the call.
My pleasure. Alan Elledge from Stratford University. I want to thank our good friends also at Nestle Toll House in Newport News. Great Toll House cookies, cakes, savory flatbreads, paninis, wraps, crepes, both savory and sweet, ice cream and ice cream sandwiches, excellent milkshakes, a variety of coffee. Give them a call at 369-3663 at the Tech Center in Newport News, right off of Jefferson Avenue. Something for everyone as well, right there by Nestle Toll House Cafe by Chip. Like them on Facebook as well. Excellent place for desserts at Nestle Toll House Cafe by Chip. Stay tuned.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in their mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road in Chesapeake for lunch or dinner, and like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is Spaghetti Eddie's. You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg.
Keep my hands on myself.
As a lot of you know, I went to George Mason, grew up in Newport News, been in radio and TV since I've been in college for a long, long time. Been a pleasure hosting Sports Scene on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM as the AM-FM combo, with Mr. Hoot giving me the opportunity here in December of 2013 with Colleen as well. And, of course, our show is Wednesdays 12 to 1. We've moved recently to 1 to 2 on the weekends. And now there's going to be a format change like there is a lot in radio stations. When I worked at Red Zebra, it went from sports to music. That's just a way of life for a lot of AM and FM terrestrial radio stations. Joe Daniel is very involved here at the radio station. He's a producer. He also hosts a show on the Lighthouse 100.1 and 1010 AM. My show will be on Saturdays from 10 to 11. Talk about the transition for the radio station, for Sports Scene, and for your show as well.
Correct. So for AM 1650, WHKT, and 92.5, those will undergo a format change to African-American gospel music, along with that is a part of a radio station that is also in the building. So Sports Scene is going to transition over to the Lighthouse 100.1 FM, where exactly as you said, I have a program there on Wednesday evenings at 5:30. But like you said, from 10 to 11, Sports Scene will be on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM. You can also listen on AM 1010, or if you want to listen and stream it online, you can go to mylighthouseradio.com, and that's mylighthouseradio.com. And the format of that station is more of a Christian ministry station. So if that's something that you're interested in, again, talk, but it's Christian teaching and preaching for that station. So definitely check that out, 100.1 FM and AM 1010.
Yeah, it's a nice mix. I've also checked out the TuneIn page. There's also TuneIn as well. Very impressed. TuneIn is very important. It's the way of the future as well. So that's an advantage of this group that owns a lot of radio stations.
Absolutely. You can kind of definitely play around a lot more with the formats and what you have going on. The cross-promotion, very, very handy to have multiple radio stations owned by the same company in the same building.
Very good. I want to thank our good friends at Craft Burger Bar at 1706 Mediterranean Avenue in Virginia Beach. Appetizers, craft chili, fried house pickles, the Wagyu burgers, the Coronado, the Greek, the pepper, the shroom, the sunrise. Excellent toppings, Carolina snap dogs, chicken sandwiches, salads, vegan burgers, fries, onion rings. Go by and see Jamie and the great staff 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 1706 Mediterranean Avenue in Virginia Beach at the Craft Burger Bar. All right, back here on Sports Scene. Always a pleasure to talk to my good friend Brad Tuggle from the Virginia Stage Company at the Wells Theater. How are you, Brad?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on again.
All right. Absolutely. Happy New Year. Let's get right to it. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Experience the beloved classic at the Wells Theater, and it really is shaping up to be an excellent classic with Marina Shea as well as Lowell Byers.
Yes. So we're right in the middle of the run right now. We go through February the 4th. Tickets are selling really well, so if you want to come see the show, you can go online right now to vastage.org while you're listening and grab your tickets.
Let's talk about the play. Let's talk about the concept and what can people expect.
Sure. So many people are familiar with Pride and Prejudice. It's one of the most beloved and well-read novels, and we do a very faithful adaptation. So it's set in the same time period as the novel was, and it's a good hearty play that gets in pretty much all of the plot points. I mean, you can't get a 300-page novel fully on stage, but we cover all of the love stories and the back and forth of these kind of classic characters that really still resonate today.
When you talk about your theater there, it's got a lot of history. What can people expect? Of course, there's plays throughout the year as well.
Yes. So we're at the Wells Theater in the heart of downtown Norfolk. It was built in 1913, so it's a classic theater. It's kind of the perfect setting for a play like this. We have 630 seats in there, and it's this beautiful Beaux Art style with paintings on the walls and statues. It's really kind of a phenomenal place to come and see a play. It'll take you out of this kind of modern world that can be a little tumultuous and get you back into kind of a simpler and more classic time. We've got Pride and Prejudice going on right now, and then you were talking about other shows. We've got a special one-week-only thing. It's February the 9th and 10th. It's a play called Love Letters. It's starring Julie Fischel, who is in Pride and Prejudice, and then many people know Chris Hanna, who was our artistic director for a long time. He's kind of he very rarely gets on stage, and he's doing this special fundraiser for us on February the 9th and the 10th to get folks out to see him on stage.
Absolutely. Talking to Brad Tuggle from the Virginia Stage Company at the Wells Theater, of course, very involved in marketing and PR. He's had a lot of experience as well working behind the scenes. He likes that in theatrics, as he's talked about over the years here on Sports Scene. Really, there's something for everyone there. And I like how when a play is about to start, some of your staff members will say, put the devices down, just enjoy the ambiance of the theater.
Exactly. Tom, our artistic director, says before the shows that it's a radical act of community to put our phones away and sit down and listen to somebody else's story for a while. So it's nice to be able to see a live story on stage and enjoy it with 400 to 500 other people who are experiencing the same thing that you are, and you're the only people who are ever going to experience that exact version of the play.
Yep. Order tickets at vhstage.org. Excellent place, excellent venue in Hampton Roads. Really, there's something for everyone there, and you can see all the performances. The website pretty much has everything you need to know.
It does. Yep.
All right, very good. Leave us with a closing thought. Pride and Prejudice, of course. Love Letters has been there before, but it's been a long time. I saw it actually when it was once there at the Wells Theater. Really a great play, but there's always something going on in the spring as well, and then before you know it, it'll be the summer and the fall.
Yep, we've got 4 more shows in this season, and keep an eye out on our social media. All of our social media is VA Stage, and you'll be able to find out in the next month the shows that we're doing for next season.
Very good. Brad Tuggle, all the best with Pride and Prejudice, Love Letters, and a lot more at vastage.org. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Right there. Brad Tuggle right there from the Virginia Stage Company. I want to thank our good friends at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Mike and the staff have a spacious, nice dining area, bar, lunch, and dinner daily. Great burgers, steaks, soups, salads, appetizers, pasta, chicken, ribs, chops, something for everyone. Excellent appetizers, desserts, beverages, dine in or carry out. Enjoy your nice meal at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Any special occasion as well. You got Easter Sunday coming up and a lot more right here at Outback Steakhouse at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. For more, log on to Outback.com. Like them on Facebook. Give them a call at 523-4832.
What tees you off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And I want to thank our good friends, Paul and the friendly staff of Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. Great place to watch the big game. Lunch, dinner, appetizers, salads, boneless, traditional wings. They are delicious. Excellent burgers, wraps, sandwiches, tenders, macs, as well as beverages, kids menu, all the games on TV. Wings, beer, sports. Where's Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News? Right next to Patrick Henry Mall on Jefferson Avenue. Give them a call at 249-3999 for lunch, dinner, late night stacks at 12150 Jefferson Avenue. Excellent place to dine and have a good time with your friends. It's Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. All right, what tees me off? People who are not in a certain field, but yet they claim to be experts when having a conversation about any topic in any business.
Yeah, they're called lawyers. They're called lawyers. They're called scientists. Absolutely. I've definitely had those. And I was working in construction. And for me, working in construction, I worked in a specific field, and I was the expert in that field, restoration. I was a water damage technician. I was certified. I knew my stuff. But going over to a house, and there all of a sudden comes in a general contractor. Now all of a sudden that general contractor thinks that he knows everything. You know, you need to do this. I don't know about you doing all that. And I'm like, hold on, I'm the expert here. You know, you're a general contractor. I'm the expert in my specific related field. So I definitely have come across that.
But let's say there's a doctor or a dentist or a nurse, or let's say a broadcaster, yet they claim to know everything about Dollar Tree, Harris Teeter, and Kroger, too. That's called a know-it-all.
Yeah, and they blame it on their degree. Well, I have a doctorate in this. And like, okay, well, that's still not a related field at all.
Are you Dr. Phil? Yes. All right, expert on every topic here as well. Trying to be on time somewhere where you don't want to be in the first place anyway.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be there, but you have to be on time.
Right. And then, but even if you do arrive on time to an event that you don't really want to be at, people are looking at you with like raised eyebrows, like, look at this guy who showed up exactly on time. You know, because to be on time is to be late, they say.
I was at a scrapyard the other week.
That teased me off.
Oh, yeah, of course. I was at a scrapyard recently observing a meltdown. There's nothing worse than watching a mental meltdown.
That's
in public.
Yeah, I would definitely be pulling out my phone for that and watching. As long as it doesn't get violent. As long as if it gets violent, then I'm probably going to step away very quickly.
With that said, slamming an object like a plate or a vase hard in the ground to make a point.
or slamming anything down, whether it be your hand or your phone or something, just slamming it down just to try to get your point across. What I always was told was the person who's the loudest in the debate or argument is the one who's losing.
Right. It's better to have that meltdown away from work, away from people in general, either by yourself, out in the field, somewhere. Yeah. It's called exercise and working out.
Yeah, absolutely. Go get in your car and scream your lungs out. Just don't do it in public.
How about these? We saw this a lot during the snowstorm, Joe Daniel, or the fake snowstorm we had here recently. These trucks with these awkward snow plows in the trucks driving around aimlessly, waiting to get some type of snow out of any driveway. But they're really not city people. They're just private guys just driving around with that cool snow crab plow in the front of their truck.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I did see some of that. And I don't know if they are by the city or if they are just like these private good Samaritans who are out there. I mean, I'm glad that they are out there, but it's kind of like maybe wait until it starts snowing before you actually go out there and be too preemptive.
So you're calling an order in for a restaurant, the family is. Then you have to wait on hold for 10 minutes to get through the operator. Oh, transfer to this person, transfer to that person. By the time you order, you're already disgruntled and your food's cold.
Right, exactly. Yeah, just that wild goose chase for any customer service. You call one person, oh, I'm sorry, that I'm not able to help you with that. Let me transfer you over to here. And you say, okay, I was transferred over to you guys by somebody. I'm like, well, I don't know why they did that. I don't handle that. And so, well, I'm going to have to transfer you over to this division. And then you get transferred over. And it's the same thing that they say. It's just a rinse, wash, and repeat.
Speaking of that, starting a dishwasher without detergent.
Yeah. Or you're out of hot water for whatever reason, and you can't start the dishwasher because you have no hot water.
Very good. All right. I want to thank our good friends at Panera. All items 100% clean. They deliver catering. Take advantage of the rapid pickup option. Soups, sandwiches, salads, bagels, breads, smoothies. Excellent breakfast sandwiches. Excellent, of course, soup, cookies, desserts, refreshing beverages. Go by and see Brian and the staff. For more, go to PaneraBread.com. Food as it should be. They are located in Harborview in Suffolk at 6255 College Drive. Give them a call at 483-3670. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Panera Bread in Harborview. All right, excellent show once again. I want to thank our good friends at CP Shuckers, Locals Tradition, Shore Drive, Pacific Avenue. Delicious food, great apps, steak bites, sandwiches, burgers, specials, all the games on TV. Go by and see Matt, Mark, Chef Leon at CP Shuckers, both locations, Shore Drive, Pacific Avenue. Great place to eat and dine with your friends. So I want to thank our great guests today. For more, log on to gjbtv.com. Of course, right now the show is on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM. But next Saturday, 100.1 FM, as well as 1010 AM, The Lighthouse, Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., midweek online on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. For more, go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link for archive shows. For Joe Daniel, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. We'll talk to you soon.